Listen up. We are back with another episode of the Construction Mentor Podcast. My name is Ike. I am your host. I'm on vacation. If you can tell, if you're listening or if you're watching on the video feed, not the normal background. I am on location with my family, but I wanted to get this episode in because I have Jonny Welds with us today. That's his handle. If you couldn't tell, his name's Jonny, and he's a welder. And why do we have guys like Jonny on the podcast? We have him on here because we want to promote the construction industry as the place to be. We want to make sure that people understand the path, how they get into the industry, what opportunities are there for them, and what their life can look like as a result. And I truly believe that whether it's the trades or construction management or whatever it is, I think that construction is the best opportunity to get rewarded for every ounce of hard work that you put in there. Whatever you want to drive, whatever kind of house you want, whatever kind of life you want to build for you and your family, it's all there for the taking. It's just a matter of what you make of the opportunity. So aside from this podcast, we have a few tools out there. If you go to constructionmentor.org, there's courses out there to help you learn how to be an estimator, how to be a project manager, HVAC, electrical, plumbing. Go check that out. The links are there, and there's free videos for you to walk you through those careers for exactly what they look like, give you a accurate picture of what you can make, how long it's going to take you to make it, and what your first step looks like in the industry. So go check that out. You can also check it out at any of the social media pages that I have. There's a link in the bio. You can always find it there. But today we're going to talk about welding with John. John, how you doing today? Glad to have you here.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
So John, where in the world are you, and what are you doing in that part of the world?
All right. So I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. It's right in the center. And I'm a welder, like you said. And what I focus on these days is I pipe weld.
So you're pipe welding, and is that for like large commercial HVAC systems, or are you doing, infrastructure like domestic water and site civil stuff? What are you doing?
Good question. So I do a little bit of everything, but mostly it's been industrial construction for the last little while there. But I will do certain things if I'm working in the city, which I don't often do. I'm usually on the road. I'm a member of the UA, United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters union. So how it works is I just take calls through the union, and I usually have to travel. Um, Reason being is because Winnipeg doesn't, like Manitoba as a province, um, doesn't have a lot going on. Like it just has agriculture as resources. So we don't have we don't have oil and gas, we don't have potash. So I mostly focus on industrial construction. So it makes me go on the road a lot and travel for work.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know the layout of Canada, I would compare Toronto very close to like New York or like the Northeast in the States, very busy, huge metropolis. Vancouver, very similar to like a Seattle or a San Francisco. Calgary is kind of their Texas, right? It's all oil and gas and kind of energy infrastructure. And then Winnipeg, big enough to have a hockey team, right? And it has
Yep.
some cities going on, but it's kind of like our Midwest once you get away from Chicago, right? Just
Mm,
smaller markets. And I
yeah.
think it's great that you have the opportunity to travel, because I kind of relate it to like nursing. Like a lot of people like the idea of being a traveling nurse when they're young because they get to go and they get to see different things and try different places and stuff like that. So I think that's great that you get to do that. Is that where you grew up too?
Yeah, I grew up in Winnipeg. And
You
on
grew up.
that point that I said there, it is there is that part of it. There's an adventure part to it. You get to experience different cities, and it really does change your perspective because just you get to see how other cities are handling their situations and how people are
Mhm.
living, the different personalities, the different behaviors, and then you kind of, just really changes your perspective, and it kind of allows you to appreciate where you're from a little bit more. So yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell you as somebody that's, I've worked in pretty much every market in North America, including all the provinces in, well, except for the Northwest Territories and like the Yukon, but I have worked in all the provinces in Canada, and I can tell you, like, it's just like the U.S. Every province is different. Canada in general is different than the U.S. I think that's been huge for me, just kind of as a manager and as a leader.
Mm,
And you will definitely find that I think everybody hates the people from Toronto because they hate the Maple Leafs, right? Like, because that's like how everyone kind of hates New York here. The people in Quebec, in Montreal, the people that speak French, very, very different from everybody else, and that's a whole
yes.
different dynamic, right?
Yes.
Um, but it just makes you more of a well-rounded individual, right? So,
Definitely, I agree. Yep.
and before we take a step back, I want to take a step back into what Jonny was like as a younger person before he became a welder. When you talk about industrial, what type of systems are we talking about?
Uh, Natural gas plants, refineries, nuclear power plants, water treatment centers, anything like that, really.
Got it. So that's very specialized work, right? Like not
Yeah.
anybody can just walk in there and work, especially if it's already an active facility. Like just imagine you're not going to walk into a nuclear plant and with a torch and just start welding stuff up, right? So like that's very specialized work, which means what? The more specialized you get, the more the compensation is going to be appealing, right? The more it's going to pay. So those things are all great, and we'll get into that. So take
Hmm.
a step back. What was Johnny Welds like before he was Johnny Welds? Say like in high school, were you a straight A student? Were you well behaved? What was it like for you then?
So okay, so right when I entered high school, I was fairly still straight edge. I was very focused on skateboarding. Skateboarding was that was the plan. That was the plan. That was the dream. I wanted to be a professional skateboarder. And if I applied myself like I know I can nowadays,
Hmm.
I could have definitely accomplished that. However, um, high school stuff happened, so I started experiencing high school and going out to parties, and then started drinking for the first time, and then I started skateboarding less, and then that became less important, and then partying and hanging out with my friends and meeting people just took over. So I was definitely not a straight A student. I was I did not yeah, I was not great at school, but I did enjoy being there, be with my friends and stuff. But
Hmm.
nowadays, I do kind of regret that. I wish I would have cared more and like been more involved in school just as it is, because there's a lot of experiences just in that in itself, like just in the classroom and just in the different experiences within that I just missed out on. I skipped a lot of school. I smoked a lot of pot. I Yeah, that's kind of what I did in high school. So
So when I think I align with that, right? Like I think about what I could have done athletically, what I could have done academically. I still think I would probably have chose the construction industry, unless like I took off in football or something like that. But I wasn't focused, right? I didn't have an adult there. My dad always taught me how to work hard, but I definitely gave me the green light when it came to playing hard too, right? I've been playing harder than I should have at a young age.
yeah.
What would you say to somebody that's sitting there now that has aspirations for a career like skateboarding, where it's like the entertainment industry, right? Like not everybody can do it. Um, why couldn't you stay focused? And what would you recommend to somebody that young, to get focused and kind of block out the noise of all the partying and all the extracurricular stuff that takes your eye off the ball?
Hmm. It's probably a cliche answer, but I would just like I thought about this to myself. Like, what would I say to myself? Like what would I do differently? And I guess what I would tell them is just like, yeah, those people are your friends. They're your friends, but like you got potential, and that is so much more important than any experience you're going to have with these people. That's not to take away anything from these people. That's like your childhood friends. That means a lot. They're like your second family. However, like I didn't do so many things in my life because I was concerned about what they might think, and I held myself back so much, and that's an awful thing for anyone to do to themselves. It's a self-sabotaging situation. So I would say like know that friendship is important. Of course, that's important, but it's not everything, man. And if you feel like you can do something and accomplish something and do something like really big with your life, focus on that. Just like if you think you can do something, likely you can. So just I would try to say just don't focus so much on just like making so many memories and all that with your friends. Focus on your potential and what you can be as a person.
Mhm.
And then what else on that note? I was gonna say I guess that's basically it.
So I love that. And what I would do is I think that You hit the nail on the head when it comes to always being worried about what they would think and creating the perception that like you think you're better than them because you're working on bigger and better things. You're working on fulfilling that potential, right? And having higher dreams. And they'll try to tear that down, right?
Yeah.
And I think on the flip side, I was just talking to a young guy in my neighborhood 2 nights ago, and he's going to play college football.
Mm.
And he was asking me, he feels like he's not in shape. He's got football camp coming up in like 6 weeks, and he's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And he had said, they're in a group chat now because everyone's connected on social media and they can share workouts and things like that. And he's like, "Well, I'm doing just as much as everybody else." And I told him, like, stop being concerned with what everybody else is doing. Stop letting other people set your bar, right?
Oh,
You're letting them set your standard. The only person you should be competing with is yourself,
100%.
right? Say goodbye every night when you look in the mirror. Say goodbye to that person because the next day somebody a little bit better is going to be there, and then the next day a little bit better and a little bit better.
Mm.
And if you do that and you make that, if you're disciplined about just making yourself a little bit better every day, you're going to get above average results. If you're just looking at your friends especially your friends that you grew up with, and I'm sure just like you have, I have a bunch of friends that have never left a 10-mile radius of where we grew up. If you do the same things that they're doing, if you do the average person's tasks and you put the average work in, you're going to get average results in anything,
100%.
right? So if you want an above average lifestyle, if you want an above average house, if you want an above average car, you got to put in above average work. And when you look at other people, it's going to be more than them. It's going to feel uncomfortable than what they put in, but you got to be prepared to do it, right? And I
Yeah,
think it starts with focus.
absolutely, dude.
So was the trades, when you got away from skateboarding, was the trades the way, or like when you were looking up and you were like, man, skateboarding might not be it? Were you considering college? Was that not an option? What were you thinking the future looked like at that age?
Okay, so I think a lot of people that get into welding are creative. They have creative minds. Because they're fusing metal together. It can be artistic too. So at least what I found in my experience, as I've met people through it, a lot of them have things on the side. Either they're tattoo artists on the side, or they're musicians on the side, or they draw. They're usually doing something like that. So um, it doesn't surprise me that I found welding. So what happened was after high school, I just landscaped because a family friend of mine owned a company, and it was easy to do. I enjoyed it outside all the time, right? Then my good friend Sam, who I snowboarded with, and he's an artist as well, and we just have a lot of kind of things in common. He mentioned that he's going into welding, so I said, "Tell me more," and he told me what it was, and I said, "That sounds right up my alley, man. That sounds awesome." So I signed up, and we basically took the class at the same time. His class was right here, mine was right here, and the rest is kind of history. And also on that note, though, I've wanted to lay this out here, this message to any skateboarders that might be listening, because skateboarding you can't do forever, right? And a lot of them, they'll hit their mid 30s and they'll try to find a different venture. A lot of them do photography. Some people become tattoo artists, which, aligns with their creative mind. But I would suggest that while you're doing this skateboarding thing, go into welding school. Just go do the pre-employment. Just go get your CWB. Just do it. Because like when skateboarding was done, and I was done with partying and all that, like I had that welding career just there waiting for me, and I just had to apply myself and raise my level up, and you know get to that spot. But that's what I would suggest for sure. Or anyone skateboarder, go to welding school while you're doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can make a little bit of money while you do it too, right? And one thing that I tell everybody, I always use the analogy that plumbers don't love the way pipes smell, but when you make a lot of money and you have a trade like that, that can give you the ability to travel like you do. And maybe you're traveling and you're kind of fulfilling your passion for skateboarding because you get to go to Santa Monica and go, skateboarding there, or Huntington Beach, or then you go to New York City and you can actually travel and you can go see things and you can go do things. And skateboarding as a passion all of a sudden becomes something so much more interesting in your life that you get to look forward to. Yeah, you're not getting paid to do it, but what's the alternative, right? Like you struggle and you're only at the same skate park that you grew up in Manitoba for your whole life, right? Like I know
Yeah.
people that do that with surfing, right? Like there's people that travel all the time and they surf or they fish or they go on boats or they do whatever, but they're able to do it because they have the money to do it,
Mhm.
right? So sometimes your career can serve your passion, and when you have a career in the trades or construction, especially welding, especially specialized welding like you are in industrial, pays a lot of money, right? Like you then can go do things that are really
Yes.
cool and serve your passions that way.
Yes.
So was it the union hall right away, or was it just a welding course that you took?
So I went into, excuse me, I went into pre-employment. It's about a 7 month course, I think, and they teach you just the basics, everything: oxyacetylene, MIG, stick, TIG, and then you get your CWBs at the end of that. I think I got my MIG CWBs and my stick CWBs. So then after that, though, how it works in Manitoba, at least with a lot of people, is it's really hard to get an apprenticeship. Like even through our union hall, a lot of union halls throughout Canada will actually offer a welding apprenticeship,
Mm,
but yeah, ours doesn't. So again, it goes back to like we don't have a huge industry here, so it's not
mm.
a huge importance for them. So anyways, so a lot of us, what we end up doing is we work for several, like a few years, 3 years, gather all our hours together, get them signed by the government, get them signed off, and then we can challenge our ticket, and then we can, you know, level up from there.
Got it. So you're basically getting in. So first of all, you said a few things there. Let me just tie it in for people. MIG,
Mm,
TIG, oxyacetylene, that's different types of welding, whether it be with a stick, and you can go look at a video of that. And actually, what you should do is you should just go look at Johnny's content, because it's very cool, very enticing, and he does really clean and really good work, and it truly is an art form, right?
excellent.
But that's different types of welding, right? So sometimes
Mhm,
you'll see
yes.
it like a spark at the end of a stick, and other times like oxyacetylene, it's a torch, right? So that's what he's talking about there. And then when he says CWB, I'm guessing that's certified welder. What's B?
Yeah, the Canadian Welder Bureau.
Bureau. Oh, Canadian Welder Bureau. Okay, got it. I knew it was something along those lines. And
Yeah.
once you have that, that's your ticket to go work, right? So if you very similar in the states and in a bunch of different markets, you can often circumvent an apprenticeship. A lot of people think that they have to get into the union and that's the only way to get an education or to break into the industry. Unions love, and I'm going to put some content on about this, but they love when people have an education somewhere else that they didn't have to pay for, that they didn't have to put in the resources for, just like yours, because you probably don't have the demand to do it. They don't have the demand to like keep a welding school going all the time, right? But even in hot markets, they love hiring people that already have a certification, and they'll even walk onto a non-union job site and stand at the bottom of the ladder. And when the guy comes down, they'll say, "Hey, do you want a spot in the union? You can circumvent our apprenticeship. We'll just put you on as a journeyman right away." Right.
Mm,
So what's important is just going and finding the education, like John just said, and then trying to find work somewhere and just start. Just get your foot in the door, get a certification, get your card, get your license, and then find a job welding something somewhere somehow. Right.
mhm.
That's what people should do. So how'd you get that first opportunity? Like if it wasn't an apprenticeship, like how'd you get that first shot to take you on, and where did it go from there?
Sure. So, ironically, my first job was building a skate park in Winnipeg.
What, doing railings and stuff?
Yeah, doing the rails, doing the boxes, doing all the rebar in the ramps. It's a concrete skate park. So like I just everything. I designed the handrails, everything myself because they knew my background in it. My friend Mitch actually traveled with this company and they go across the world building skate parks. It's a really big skate park building company and like you should interview this guy. Wow, you would have some amazing stories. So
Send them
yeah,
send
so
them my way.
yeah, I definitely will. So he travels the world building these skate parks, man. Like, and he like Switzerland, everything. It's incredible. Like, what a job. Anyway, so I was just got out of welding school, and he said, "Hey, we're at the end of Maine building that new skate park." And I said, "All right," and which is awesome. But what was awesome about that job is that the rate was incredible. So he says, "So what do you think what do you think is fair to be paid here?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty fresh here. I got my CWBs." And he's like, "So like $26 an hour?" And I said, $26 an hour? Holy crap. But I didn't say that out loud. I said, "Sure." Yeah, that sounds good, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So for perspective, that'd be $52,000 for somebody with no real experience, right? Like you're sitting there
Yeah,
thinking like, oh, I'm nobody with nothing to offer.
yeah.
That sounds good to me.
I would have, I don't even know if I was expecting 20. So for him to say
Right.
26, it was like, right on, dude, let's do this. And then, but so from there though, I went to a production shop. So it's just like, this piece, this guy welds it, puts it to this guy welds it, and then eventually it says finished piece.
Yeah.
So I did that for a bit, and then I got into, and then after that, I got my first industrial construction job, and I was welding for the electricians at the hydro dam in northern Manitoba. So that was like my first introduction to industrial construction, and then that's where I met the pipe welders. And my buddy Sam, who went to welding school with me, he went to that job with me as well. It was a camp job, and he's a pipe fitter now. He decided to abandon welding and just because he went to the union and they said, well, we don't do welder apprenticeships, but we will take you on as a pipe fitter. So he just said yes. I can't believe he said that, but he's enjoying his life now. It's just he's such a good welder. He's artistic. I just couldn't believe he did that. So anyways, so then I met all the pipe welders there. They showed me what's going on and what they get paid to do that. And I said, okay, that's what I want to do. And they said, yeah, man, just, few years, like when you gather all your hours, just go challenge a ticket, get your pipe ticket, and then go to the union hall. I'm sure they'll accept you.
So,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
said a few things there where it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I tell people all the time that they wait for the perfect opportunity or they want the crystal ball with the perfect path. It's like, dude, just get in and just show up. And you never know what opportunity. You get that first one, somebody sees you, you get the second one. Next thing you know, you got a career rolling and you got money coming in and you're working your way up the ranks. And that's exactly what happened with you, right?
Mm.
Talk to me about, did you make any mistakes showing up late or being on the phone, or what did that look like? What'd you learn, and what would you say to young people coming in now? Because I see that a lot, right? Like the young guys come in and they don't know any better. I think that the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, they think that like they should have this divine knowledge that they were born with to do things the right way and to have have the right mindset. What do you say to the young guys coming in? Like what should they be cognizant of and make sure they're doing to give the right perception that they are worth given the next opportunity to?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I mean, well, my advice would be just like you said, I would just show up, man, and do your best job every day. And it's just a cliche thing to say, but did I make mistakes? Yes. I made many mistakes. I skipped work. Like I was going through it then. I was drinking, I was doing cocaine. So I was trying to have this career and also do all this stuff. And it wasn't working out. What I do see though nowadays, I think I see is that it's becoming more popular for people to be not drinking alcohol as much. Like the younger tradesmen, I see these young welders and stuff, and they got their head on straight, man. And I tell them this. I make sure I go out of my way and I tell them, like, dude, keep this mindset, dude. I love it. Like you're like, what are you, 23? You're 23, dude. You're specialty welding. You don't have an alcohol problem, nothing, dude. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. And just keep doing that. Just keep doing that and just keep leveling up and your life's just gonna be freaking awesome. Like it's just so it's nice to see that.
So let's talk about that because you're 9 years sober now, which congratulations. And I know it's one day at a time and you're coming up on a decade, which I'm sure is going to feel great to say
I
soon.
can't wait, man.
When's that anniversary coming up?
January 1st.
January 1st, New Year's Day.
Well,
Wow. Okay.
January 2nd, because the first I was still intoxicated.
Okay. Okay. Fair.
Just technically.
That's accountability right there. That's accountability.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was that like? Like, did you already have a problem before you came into the industry? Did the industry make it worse? Or is that something that you kind of fell into the culture of? I've put out a lot of content. Just one of the things that I tell people, aside from like show up for work on time, write things down, don't have your hands in your pockets, like look the part, is you got to be cognizant of the culture that you're walking into. And I think it surprises a lot of people when people don't drink or they don't have bad habits because it's so prevalent. It's way more prevalent than other industries. So how did that problem kind of develop for you? Was it the industry or did it make it worse?
So it's not that it made it worse technically, it made it better and worse. So I was going through that stuff. I got into the industry. So let's just go to my first industrial construction job. Okay. That's when I went with my buddy there, and there was a bar on site. I was already in pretty deep. So I remember drinking as soon as I got there, and people were having fun and stuff. I felt like a loser, but then I also saw the gym. So I said to myself, well, for the 4 weeks I'm here, it's like I either be a total loser or I go to the gym and I start building my body, and then I can come back and be like, "What's up?" I'm like, I was actually spending my time wisely. So um, I did end up hitting the gym, but I also, when I got back, I would drink with my friends and spend all my money and do all that stuff. So it was weird. Like I was being two different people. Like I'd go away for 3 to 4 weeks, and then I'd hit the gym and be normal, and then I'd come back and then totally not be normal. And then um, fast forward to when I got the opportunity to go into the union. This is like where it was really crushing. I got the opportunity. I was doing okay at a fab shop, and then they gave me an opportunity to go to a shutdown, make a lot of money. So I was just like, I was like 24 or 5. So to make like, yeah, 25, to make like 100 grand was a year was going to be pretty crazy back then. So, or like 300 a week or something. That was going to be nuts. So,
which
yeah,
is
so
which is the other problem, right? Because now you have money to really go do it, right?
yeah, it's catch 22, definitely. Yeah. So I went to the orientation. I think I went for one night, and then like I was working night shift, and then that night I stayed up for like the whole day doing blow with the pipe fitters. And that was a poor decision. And then I ended up skipping work and then skipping more work. And so then I eventually just kind of I left that project. It was obviously very embarrassing, and then I left the union. So I lost that opportunity entirely because I was a permit at the time, and it's just very embarrassing. And I don't know. I knew they weren't interested, so I just kind
So
of bowed out.
did you get kicked out? Because that happens a lot, right? In a lot of
Yeah.
markets, like if you mess around with not showing up for work or whatever, you fail drug tests, like you will get tossed, and you won't get invited back. So did they toss you, but you're back now, or is that a different union?
Nope. So it's the same union. I just didn't. I just left because I knew that would probably happen anyways, and it was just very embarrassing. They might have gave me another shot. They probably would have, but I don't know. I was young. I was embarrassed, and I just said, you know what, never mind. It's okay. But you're right. They will kick you out for certain things, and for me to get back in, I that was also a whole situation because I wanted to level up. I was welding again. We're skipping some steps here, but either way, uh, I had to explain myself to my business agent at the union, and I just told him my situation. I would love to come back, and then my first job he sends me on is that same place that I left, the same project, it's the same shutdown. And I said, "Wow, that's a coincidence." So then he got back to me and said, "Was there a problem with you specifically back then at this place? Because they're saying like, you're on a list." And I said, "Shit." Yeah. So then I told him all about my
Like
alcohol
you're on
past.
like a shit list. Like why is this guy back
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. Blackballed. Like, don't, not allowed back. Because just, yeah. But anyway, so I explained myself to my business agent, and we had a great talk, and he appreciated me being honest with him. And then he said, "Well, you seem like a normal person now." So he gave me a shot, and here we are today.
So was was that situation where like it sounded like you kind of just went on a bender and missed a couple of days of work, and that was like embarrassing. I mean, was that rock bottom, or did it continue to spiral after that? Like when did you look and say enough's enough? I got to turn it around, and how'd you do it?
Okay, so yeah, so then I went on for like probably 2 more years partying after that, and I did miscellaneous jobs. I went and welded for a different outfit, and then oil crashed. So I came back to Winnipeg. I came back to Manitoba. I was in Alberta welding. Oil crashed. Came back to Manitoba, and I got into bartending because I mean I figured I'm a fairly outgoing dude, and if I want to be, I can be pretty good at that. And I like working with my hands, and it's kind of like something like welding. It's a challenge. I can, I like working with my hands. I like doing stuff like that.
So you were partying for 2 years. Like, what was
Mm.
the rock bottom where you were like, enough's enough?
Oh,
And how'd you turn it
yeah,
around?
yeah. So yeah, I welded for another 2 years. I mean, I partied for another 2 years, and then so I really wanted to stop this whole madness, and I was bartending at the time, and I I wanted to leave my group of friends without hurting anyone's feelings. I just knew that that had to happen. They're my childhood friends, and so anyways, I looked for a job abroad, and I found a job in New Zealand
So your
welding.
answer was physically to remove yourself from your normal environment, your normal friends who probably were feeding into the same bad habits, and you probably didn't even know how to hang out around, without doing those things because it's probably just what you guys have always done, right?
Yeah, and I want to note though, I was the worst one. Like I'm all I need is someone just to be there, like most of them live normal lives. They have families, they have kids, they have normal jobs. Like they're totally normal people. But I'm an all or nothing guy, and it's a blessing and a curse. So I go all in everything I do, and that included partying, I guess. So this one's a side note, just to say that they're not super bad influences. It was just me more or less.
So did you go to New Zealand? I mean, whether you're the influence and the ringleader or not, I think a lot of people need that. And that's why I encourage a lot of people, and construction affords people that opportunity to change a venue, because you can take what you know how to do anywhere you hit a dot, throw a dot at a map, wherever it
Mm.
lands, people need welders, right? So did you end up changing your environment?
So I did 3 interviews on Skype, and they gave me the opportunity, but they said the only catch, like they'll pay for my flights and all that, but the only catch is that I have to buy a vehicle when I'm there because their public transport system is not good. So that's kind of hard to do. I was bartending at the time. I had a cocaine habit just to save all that money. Only $1,000. They said I could get a used car for like $1,000, so it's not too bad. But to save that money at the time, whatever, right? So um, I didn't go because this is what happened. So I saved like about $800 or something like that. And then it was 2 weeks before New Year's, and my friends wanted me to come out, and I said I can't. I got the situation, and I told them like, this is my plan, kind of thing. These friends, I could tell, like I got a plan. I want to get away for a bit, and but misery loves company, and they just don't really care at that point. Whether they're conscious of not caring or not, they don't care. And all I needed was a little push, like I told you. Like that's kind of how I am. So I end up spending all my money that night. All on drugs and alcohol, and that for me was just enough. It was like I started this like I had this whole plan, dude. Like I had this whole plan, and like I had this whole plan, this vision of my future, to get away and everything like that. And it's like not even that was important enough. Like that didn't even do it for me. Like I still fucking did this. Like I'm like, and it was just crushing, man. I'll always remember it because it was just like such a turning point where I was just like this is insane, dude. Like I have really got to get hold of myself. So it was like 11 in the morning. I stayed up all night, of course, and then my friend drove me to my car. I ended up like cry on his shoulder and just saying like, dude, like it's like I love all you guys, but I just gotta disappear, man. Like one day soon, I'm not gonna be here, man. And it's just like it's nothing to do with you guys. It's me, more or less. It's just, but I just like I can't keep doing this, man. Like it's just like I have too much potential and I can't just like let down my family and let down myself for the rest of my life. Like this is fucking crazy, dude. So 2 weeks later was New Year's, and I did party again because I knew I was very serious this time. I was very serious. And they went around New Year's resolutions. I told them my idea. People laughed at me. And January 2nd, I woke up and I just fucking never looked back, dude.
So you said a few things there. Number one, um, you just caught me off guard with the people laughed at you thing, because you would think that people would always want, especially when somebody kind of shows a little bit of vulnerability and what they want to do, you'd think that you got the people around you that would just kind of have their own sense of reality, or like, oh, I need to
Mm,
support them in doing this, like, right, like this is a good thing. But I think
mm,
we've already highlighted, like, people will immediately try to tear you down if you want to do something, especially if it's anti them or the opposite of them, right, or something
mm.
that they wouldn't even do for themselves to help them level up. I
Yep.
think a lot of people are in the same situation you were in, where they know they're meant for more, or they know they should be doing different things in their life, or they know that certain things are good for them and they need to change it, but they just can't bring themselves to do it. And everyone has a rock bottom, like when they have a comeback story or they have a story of sobriety or something like that. And sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it almost kills people, right? What do you
Mm.
say to the people that feel like they can't make a change because of the people around them, or they know that they want to make a change, but they haven't hit that rock bottom yet? Do you feel like they need to find that, or do they have to wait for that? Like, do they really have to push it? What do you say to somebody that knows that they want to turn it around, but they just can't? They just haven't been able to bring themselves to that point yet.
Mm. Good question. So I have actually had several people reach out to me through DMs that that are going through this situation, that they just ask me like, how do I do it? And like, and I'm just pretty simple and plain with it. It's just like, if you haven't reached that level yet, I don't know if I can even do anything for you. Like, because some people will say they want to change, but do they really want it? Like, like you have to really want it, like really want it, man. Like this, I'm talking like life changing. Like you have to stop going to the places you used to go to. You have to stop doing the things you used to do. You have to stop hanging around the same people you used to hang around with. Like this all has to change, man. It's a serious commitment. If you really want lasting change, it's a serious commitment. So like, so I try to approach it pretty softly, and but that's kind of my message. I just tell them like, if you really want this, if you really, really want this, dude, you have to remove yourself. And then you can tell yourself it's not forever, man. It's not forever. Like, go get yourself right, get yourself level, get yourself on a path. And then you can always reach out to these people, go to coffee with them, get lunch with them, become a part of their lives, not become all of their lives, but become like a part of their lives, you know?
Yeah, I think you got some healing to do, and then you got to learn how to be that new person in that same environment if you're going to go back. A lot of people can't. A lot of people can never do it. But I have plenty of friends that are now sober, and they have no problem hanging out and having a seltzer water, not a
Mm-hmm.
not a White Claw or a High Noon, having an
Mm-hmm.
actual water just with bubbles in it and nothing else. Um, what did it look like for you? I mean, was it just cold turkey and you just wanted it? Because you hit the nail on the head. Same thing with going to the gym. And I think this is a good segue. I think we're going towards fitness. And if I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but Jonny Welds is fucking jacked and he takes care of
Yeah.
himself. And I want to talk about taking care of yourself in the trades. But like, if you're fat and you're out of shape and you can't bring yourself to be motivated to just go to the gym, you just don't want it bad enough yet. Like, you really don't want it bad enough yet. You haven't found the purpose or the reason to get yourself in there, and you genuinely don't want yourself to get better, because if you did, it'd be a no-brainer, and that would be all that you needed. So
Yep.
what was it for you? Was it you changed your environment, you pulled yourself away from your friends? Was there AA? Was there, groups? Did you have to go to a rehab? How'd you do that?
So it was cold turkey for me. It was like to the point where like I had tried to quit before. Like this was my first time. Like so that's why I knew that it was a serious commitment this time. That's why I knew I had to remove myself completely.
The one common thing that everybody has is that it's not a one-time thing, right? Everyone
Yeah.
tries to do it a few times before they actually get there. So
Mm,
I don't think anybody should be discouraged if they've ever failed in the past. But
definitely not.
what's different is everybody has a different answer, right? Sometimes it's AA, sometimes it's a group, sometimes it's a support system, whatever. Sometimes it's God. Feel free to, if God has a presence there. I'd say that that's probably the most common one that I hear of. So what was it
Yes.
for you? How'd you stay on the straight and narrow?
Cool. So for me, yeah, that's what I notice a lot, man. So when people get out of alcohol or substance abuse, it's almost like always they turn to God or religion. Almost always. And we said that we talk openly about everything here, right? So Um, I will talk about that too, and I will try not to, be sensitive about this, but like when you're just turning to God and religion, I feel like you might use that as a crutch later on in life, and I just feel like that might not be like you're kind of giving a little bit of your power away to that. Just in my personal opinion. Um, so for me, it wasn't. I'm not religious. I wasn't anything to do with that. It was just my potential, man. It was my potential and my future. Like I just so sick of wasting that and not even having a future to look forward to. So I've always felt like that. Like I could do big things with my life, and I was just so sick and tired of just being this like small fraction of a person that I could be. So,
Yeah, I think. Listen, there's not one answer for everybody, right? And I think the one commonality that people have between religion or stoicism or their
mm,
potential is that there's a purpose greater than themselves that has to be served, and that's what your focus needs to be on, and you got to serve that day in and day out. For a lot of people, that is God, right?
well
and
said. Well
and
said.
on the flip side, because what you were alluding to is that worship of an entity out there could be a non-healthy thing, right? Because if that crutch gets kicked out from under you one way or the other, or maybe you lose somebody in your life or whatever that is, you can collapse. And on the flip side, I think a lot of people end up worshiping AA, right? Like they go to these support groups and either they gain status in there or, whatever that is, but they end up worshiping that entity and they lose sight of maybe they were supposed to be there to serve God. Maybe they were supposed to be there to serve other people and to help them. But
Hmm.
it's not good to worship that either, right? I think the best thing that you can do is worship, your potential and whatever purpose you're trying to serve, and that it should be greater than yourself.
Agreed.
So I mentioned the gym.
Hmm.
Were you always jacked? Are you jacked just from, lifted up 8-inch, black pipe? Or did that play into, the discipline of going to the gym and taking care of yourself? Did that play into your wellness and turning your life around?
Yeah, I wish it had played a bit more of a role, but it like when I got into when I got into lifting weights, I was still partying pretty hard, and so like I was lifting weights, enjoying that, eating tons of food, and then also when I go home, I'd party and just live it up, and you know, so it was kind of counterproductive, really, because I feel like when I got home, I probably lose gains, obviously, and then I had to try so much harder when I go back up for 4 weeks. So, yeah.
Listen,
But
I'm in the
anyways,
same boat. So like I
okay,
used to
cool.
work out like a ton, and at my height of my drinking, 4 or 5 nights a week, like I'd work so hard in the gym, and it's no coincidence that the results that I see now, I see them so much easier, and they're so much easier to maintain now.
Mm,
I'm not doing that because and it wasn't even necessarily just about the drinking, but what I ate. And then I'd skip a
yeah.
couple days because I'd be too hungover. And it's like, man, when you remove that from your life, and even if you don't have to like remove it entirely, maybe you just drink a couple times a month or whatever, like the results that you see in your career and in the gym are like mind blowing.
Oh,
There's such a
absolutely.
mind blowing difference.
Yeah.
Talk to me about. I think I've seen you in my comment section with, tradesmen not being able to be fit and be healthy. And like in order to be a welder, you have to sacrifice your health and you're going to die early and your
Mm,
joints are going to go.
mm.
You don't seem to be living that out. Like you've been welding for over 10 years now. And like I said, like you're jacked, you're vascular. What do you say to the people that say that they have to sacrifice their health to be a welder?
You don't like. I mean, it's a lot of work, man. Like nothing that's worth it is easy. You know this. Like it's like all the behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to start making videos about the behind the scenes stuff because I think that'd be interesting for people. But like there's a lot that goes in, it's a lot. Like when I'm on the road and I'm doing 710s and I'm also going grocery shopping and I'm cooking and I'm meal prepping and I'm doing that day in and day out. And then I'm also going to the gym and working all those hours. Like it's not easy, but I mean, what's the alternative? You you're going to be like really out of shape later on and then you'll be complaining. Maybe you won't live as long. Maybe you can't run and jump and play with your kids like you should be able to. Like there's so many benefits, like not just physically but mentally towards being fit and healthy. Like working day in day out, doing those tens, doing those 12s, they'll be better for you if you just put in the time afterward. And you don't have to be a psychopath about it. You don't have to do 5, 6 days a week or anything. Go 3 days and then skip a day and then go 2 days and then skip a day, or just fit it in. And then also the nutrition. This is where it kills guys. And I love that this just came up. So a lot of dudes, when they're on the road, they are subjected to living in hotels because you only have so much LOA to spend without allowance. And you don't want to spend more than that because then you're losing money on the job. So if they only pay you so much, they can only cover so much. Lots of these guys grab hotel rooms and then they eat out of a microwave or whatever is easy, right? Because they don't want to spend the money to get like a kitchen suite like I'd have to. Like that eats up all of my money. But I'm also in shape and I'm also fit. I feel great. I'm like on a day-to-day basis too. Like a lot of these guys, they don't understand, like on a day-to-day basis, like your conversations with people, everything is better. Your work will be better. So, and respirators. Wear a respirator, man. Like so many people in my comments are like, oh man, you wear respirators, you know, like weld tests. I'm like, yeah, like so I'm still welding. I'm still welding. There's still fumes. There's still smoke, man. And yeah, like it's available. It's there. So use it.
I just tell people all the time, I'm like, guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s do not have to be the projection for your life. Like
No.
there's Jonny Welds, who is young and fit and feels great about his body and his mentality is there. You probably sleep well because you're taking care of your body with nutrition, and you're tired at the end of the workday and you're fulfilled, and all these things that plays into having good sleep habits, which has a positive ripple effect in the rest of your life. And
Yep.
if you do that, if you take care of your body, what goes into it, if you actually work it out and making sure that, you know, you're maintaining, you know, muscle and bone density, all those things, and then you're also making sure that you're not inhaling these fumes. Like, people don't understand that asbestos regulations and silica regulations like only came around in the last like 2 decades, right? Like,
Mhm.
the path that you're headed on with your health and what you're going to look like in your 40s and 50s and 60s is different than what somebody looks like at those ages today. So what I try to tell people is like, look at you, look at John, not, you know, the old guy who, you know, is fat and out of shape. Because that
Yeah,
just
no.
doesn't have to be you, right? And I think you've already said that you're seeing more and more young people wanting to do that. Like, there's less drinking going on, more people interested in the gym and taking care of their bodies. And I think that what people are going to look like in 20, 30, 40 years from now who are in the trades is just going to be so much different. So when you're thinking about a career, like, have that in mind. Don't listen to all these
Yeah.
people that are telling you that you have to trash your body and die early. It's just not true.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't worry about what they're saying either. Like, um, I remember when I first started bringing in healthy meals, it's like, oh, eating healthy again, eh? It's like, yeah, dude, I'm eating healthy again. Like, if that's something you think is a negative, I don't, we have nothing to talk about,
It's
really.
funny because so like I'm an office guy, and I even, you know, people will give me crap for that. And when we go out to work conferences or we're ordering lunch, everyone knows that they have to order special food for me. Like,
Mhm.
it's only gonna be chicken or beef and some fruit on the side or whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll make fun of me. But then after the holidays or when they're getting ready for an event or they feel like they've put on too much weight, they'll pull me aside and say, "Hey, could you help me?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not shy about who to go to when they need help. Well, I mean, they are shy about it because they won't do it in front of other people. But like,
Oh, yeah.
there's something to be said about walking onto a job site or walking into a conference room and knowing that you're the most fit guy in the room, right?
Oh,
There is a level of respect that you carry. And even though people want to poke fun of it, they're just trying to make themselves feel better about themselves. They're not, you know, there's no reason to actually try to tear you down.
no, absolutely not. And you nailed it on the head there. Uh, when you are fit, it it just demands a certain level of respect. Like whether they want to give it to you or not, like it says something about you. It says that you're not fucking around, man. Like you're not fucking around. You take this shit seriously. You take life seriously. So that means you probably take your work seriously. So you probably take pride in your work. So this guy is probably someone who's reliable, someone who's trustworthy. So, and yes, when you walk into a room and you know that it's a good chance that you're definitely maybe probably one of the fittest guys here. I mean, definitely. It does feel good, man. It does feel good. And I just wish that more people would have that feeling. But like I said, I feel like it is happening a lot because when I went to the camp up north recently, like 2 jobs ago, the gym was so busy. It was just like, it was a good thing and a bad thing. I'm like, oh, great to see, but
Yeah,
kind of
shit.
busy.
Those people are in my way.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so I don't want to go too much over. We're coming up on an hour. Uh,
Mm.
and the last thing that I will say before I want to give you the floor to talk about, whatever you'd like to talk about. But um, if you look at the Fortune 500 CEOs, you'll notice something. None of them are fat. Like almost none of them are fat. I'm not saying that they're jacked, but you'll notice that they are put together, they're relatively fit, and they're definitely not fat. And I don't think that's a coincidence. That's not to say that people are hiring people because they're fit or good looking, right? There is a correlation to how you take care of yourself, how you maintain your body, and how you take that discipline into everything you do, which would include your work. And there's no coincidence that it's those people that look like that rise to the top, and not the people that are morbidly obese. And in the construction industry, 25%, almost 25% of guys are obese. 75% are overweight. So what does that do for you? If you have high aspirations or you want to be somebody, a crew leader or a project manager or an executive or run your own company, you are more likely to outdo and outperform the 75% of people just based on the fact that you take care of yourself, because of what that means and what the ripple effect that's going to have throughout your life, right?
Oh yeah.
So with that, I'm curious, what's next for you? Like, where do you see your career going? Is it you gonna start your own shop? Do you want to travel somewhere, keep traveling until you like a place and then you land there and you stay there? Where do you see your career going?
Um, well, I want to make as much money as possible, and whether that is, well, yeah, so I just want to make as much money as possible. I want to make wise decisions with my money, and just every week, every month, just focus on becoming more financially literate because I'm not. And my plan is that I'd like to get into real estate and and put my money in other places, and so maybe I can set myself up, for something after the trades. I know a few people that do that, and they have real estates. I mean, they have a portfolio that they manage and stuff, and that's awesome. And my mom's a real estate agent, and so is uh, her gentleman. So which I should call him my stepdad. He's really my stepdad. So they're a team, and they know a lot about how homes and real estate investment. They have a couple properties themselves, so that's kind of what I plan to do afterwards, kind of thing. So I love what I do, and I just can't be doing it in 10 years. I mean, I could be, and I will be probably, but if I can't, then I won't be. You know what I mean? Like if I can get out and I can make some decisions and in more of a less physical environment or something that's not so bad for my eyes and my hands and everything like that, then yeah, I could do that. I'd be interested in something like that.
And I think, between the benefits that you have and the retirement plan that you probably have set up and the money that you're making, that's an option, right? So
Mm.
I think that's what people want more than anything is options. They call that freedom, right? So
Yeah,
you're going to have the freedom to go wherever you want. Maybe you retire early. My dad retired. He was a pipe welder, doing chiller plants and things like that and high pressure steam and whatnot. And he retired in his 50s. And he's been retired for 10 years and good health, feels good. He was a super
fantastic.
for probably the last 20 years of his career.
Mm.
So, there's endless opportunities, and there's a nice, happy, and healthy retirement at the end of it, if you want it and you make the right decisions. Right.
Yes.
So, is there anything else that you wanted to address? I always like to offer up the floor if in case there's anything you were hoping you got to talk about, or if there's a message out there that you'd like to, you know, give to people. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we covered quite a bit. It's been an awesome chat, man. But I did want to bring up about being fit. We were talking about being fit, and that gains a certain level of respect. What also being fit does is it'll bring more opportunities into your life. It just will, man. Because like I said before, when they see you, they see that this person doesn't fuck around. And if you carry yourself well, you talk well, you seem, more polished, those are the kind of people that get more opportunities. So if I can move into a role that I'm a superintendent or something like that, I feel like I could do really well in a leadership role. So maybe something like that in the future as well. But
Yeah.
as far as yeah, so as far as closing though, I don't know, not much else to say really, man. I think we covered quite a bit, and you gave me the ground a couple times there. So, yeah, anything else do you want to ask me?
No, listen, I appreciate you coming on. I think that role, like the road super role, is very appealing to a lot of people. They don't even really understand that it exists. Like, and now that I actually think about it, a lot of those guys are fit and put together and a little more on the
All of
jack
them, dude.
side, right? Like they show up on the
All
job
of
site,
them.
they're in the air conditioned truck going from job site to job site, and they show up with their polo shirt tucked into their pants, and they're kind of jacked, and they come on the site, they lay down the law, they make sure everyone's doing what they need to do, maybe slaps people in the ass, slaps some people upside the head, and they move on. They go to the next job site. They go back to the office, and that is kind of an avatar, and a lot of them are bald. If I
Yeah,
if I have to say what they look like, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you said, it's not a coincidence. So
No, it's
and
not a
those guys
coincidence,
get
like you
those
said.
guys
Yeah,
make a lot of money.
yeah, yeah. And it's a cleaner environment. Less tasking. You do less, get paid for more. It's awesome.
Yeah. So listen, I appreciate you coming on. Where can
Yeah,
where can everybody find you, and can people reach out to you?
yeah, absolutely. So my tag for IG is Johnny Welds. That's without an H and a Z at the end. And definitely reach out. Yeah, feel free. Don't be shy to reach out to me.
Yeah. So JONNYWELDZ. Go check them out.
Yes.
I'm gonna tag them, in any of the posts, and I'll catch everybody next time. John, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, man. It's been great.